Hey, Haterade, Tales from the Age of Men. Just kind of walking through Gundabad. Probably going to be releasing this towards the end of September, around the 28th of September. Just trying to get Gundabad as fleshed out as we possibly can, so that people can actually go in there and play it and have a kind of a good time with it. Have a couple other kind of things on my mind from a mod development standpoint that I'll, kind of hopefully quickly talk through. But yeah, kind of let's kind of show you what we've been doing so far. First and foremost, we did look at the 1.3.0 patch update. It's quite large. My thoughts are right now is that I'm gonna hold off on actually doing an upgrading. I think one mod did get their game to load, but they had to do a whole bunch of magic because Tailworlds didn't introduce the modding toolkit alongside with the beta. It just doesn't make any sense. The modding toolkit was supposed to make a lot of this modding stuff easier. They went in and changed a lot of XMLs. A significant portion of the code is all changed. It's like, and it's to be expected. Good for Tau Worlds. People are kind of, my thoughts are this really like, you don't have to. This is kind of like Tau Worlds kind of came out and said you don't have to upgrade your stuff to 1.3.0. Like you can still, keep it at 1.2.12, which is completely, legitimate. So like, I get it. When you first start a mod and they did it like what 6, 7 years ago, it was a specific team. They coded a specific kind of way. They did things a specific way. Now they have probably a whole brand new team with other skill sets. So they just did things in order to get things in game. Unfortunately, it basically touches almost every important XML. I spent a long time trying to get my stuff to work, and I would load it in. It would, tell me there was an error in this one. I would fix those errors, and then like kind of load it in again and repeat the process. Right? It was just kind of tedious. One of the good things is in 1.3.0 there are graphical updates I think that are important. It makes the game look way better. There are some features and stuff like that does do very well in terms of kind of gameplay and stuff like that. However, in my opinion, I'm going to stay at 1.2.12 until they release and they get kind of finalized with 1.3.x, whatever that is. It might be, 1.3.12 when it's all said and done. And then I'll start to move my stuff over there. But we also have to be cognizant of everything that we continuously add for 1.2.12. It's going to be a significant resource drain to upgrade it and make it compatible for 1.3.0, right? And I think that every single mod's going to have to, kind of go through this decision making process. So that's the 1.3.0. Do we intend to move towards it? Yes, it's going to be a year or two away whenever that kind of solidifies itself. So there's that, right? We're going to stay at 1.2.12. So what do we have for kind of latest and greatest? We've been, Keyforce. We got Keyforce back, and he's been, kind of very passionate and pounding through things. So first thing I did was I added in the Palorc race. This is what it looks like. When it all comes together. Shape keys are in there. We're going to do a little bit of changes. Moving forward, there will also be a berserker, just like the Orakai or Isengard has a berserker. There will be a berserker kind of race to go with the Palorks. Gundabad, then he'll move on to. Right now, he's moving on to Dolgogor because he is currently done with Gundabad. Solus is working on pumping out the weapons for Gundabad. That should be done, probably tomorrow or the next day, and then I will be packaging that up and kind of giving it out to the Patreons around the 28th. I just want to once again make sure that we do a fine check. Is it going to be completely solidified and done? No, but like it will be definitely playable. There's a troop tree and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. Moving on, let's go look at some of the armors, and I've kind of showed you guys how to do this sort of stuff. already how to import it in. So like there's a metric crap ton of armors here. I'm gonna wait for Keyforce to do his renders to kind of show this, kind of off. But as you can see, there's a significant amount of chest pieces, a significant amount of helmets, um, pauldrons. Um, you got kind of boots and gloves, right? So the idea here is to also use this for DG, but with texture changes. So this will also be Duldagore. So it wouldn't. I mean, we're going to add a couple different helmets to keep, kind of that theme, kind of different, so that there will be different helmets, but there'll also be a different texture. Like for example, this texture is, kind of, very kind of iron, rusty. I think that he nailed it, in my opinion. Um, but like DG maybe probably a little bit more black. Um, the helmets are going to be just a different style. Um, for kind of these things, that's medium. Let's look at something that's elite. I really like these, and I'm just gonna. The only reason I'm not showing them right here is because I want to show them in the game. Thank you. Right, I really like this. We did tone down the shininess of it, so it used to be very, very shiny. I think that's the texture settings of PBR metallic, plus a couple other things that are just outside of my knowledge. Like there's the texture, the S channel or whatever. I don't know. Keyforce was trying to explain it to me, but yeah. So we changed some of that, toned it down. But yeah, so that's all the armor for Gundabad. Once again, the weapons will be here in a couple days. Additionally, what else did we do? Solus was also working on. I think that this was already in the game, but like Glorfindel armor is in game. He's wearing it now. Um, and then also the Flower Knights. So Tyrell um, went and commissioned for Flower Knights to have their own armor, and they're actually in the game. This is kind of the helmet, working on the hair card. It's being slightly annoying, but we're gonna have these guys in game. I think that when you put them all together, it looks absolutely fantastic. Um, so yeah, so you got orange and green, multiple different helmets, multiple different things. So also got that in there. Anything else that I'm just kind of looking at um, from an update perspective? I don't believe so. Maybe some weapons. I think that yes, definitely some weapons. We did get Rivendell did get the Flower Knights, one broadsword, one longsword, one shield, two shields, excuse me. I think that this is pretty cool. Um, it has cloth on it, so once again, kind of making it a little bit different than your normal troops. So one spear, one two-handed, and then one one-handed. Um, sorry, we're just talking about. I've been watching a lot of Age of Ring, and I kind of want to get that and start playing it. So we were talking about doing a LAN party again with the dev team. So, anyways, yeah, all that's in there from a weapon standpoint. This will be then updated with the gun to bed here soon. So, boom, there's that. So, like, once again, just yeah. So we also got Wanderers. Shout out to Carolina and ROT for kind of answering my questions. Unfortunately, in order to spawn custom Wanderers, you have to actually have code. So I looked and grabbed that code and kind of implemented it into my game. So now we spawn custom Wanderers. And as you can see, you'll have that. Is it 100% complete? No, there's things I have to do, things I have to flush out. But like I'm just once again like what my goal here, my development philosophy is to implement it into the game. Does it work? Sweet. Think baby Jesus, and then kind of push forward, right? And then like either have people on the team come behind me and kind of clean it up a little bit. Like shout out to the testers, Dizzy, Cost, Bennett. They're kind of going behind and kind of giving it the love that it should be getting. But like that's kind of my philosophy is getting into game because I'm once again guys I'm still learning and trying to figure out like what does right look like. But yeah, so getting into the game, does it work? Cool. And then like I'm adding more as I go. Kind of does it work? Cool. Moving on. Okay, what are some other features that we got into the game? I added in so yeah, so the troop weights now. So the troop weights can be configured here in the XML. So you guys will be able to configure troop weights however you want. Right now, here's what they kind of look like. I dropped them all down to 2. Shout out to Scroto Baggins for doing a playthrough. I've been watching it. I do watch all your guys' content on YouTube. If it has Tales of the Age of Men, I try to like once again do watch something every day and get your guys' feedback and like really kind of see the game. I don't always get to play the game because I'm just constantly kind of developing for probably 8 to 9 hours a day, except on the weekends, right? So like I kind of don't get to play the game. I try to do as many playthroughs as I can, or watch the playthroughs, and I watch and see kind of the struggle bus, and then I kind of tune it down. So one of the things that the current team is working on is there's in Warband there was a camp feature that you can put a camp stationary on the map, and you can do faster heals, and then something called a reinforcement system. So when I was gun to bad and I went deep into like Eobor, just once again trying to find bandits and stuff like that. So I was in Mirkwood, got slapped down by some bandits. Maybe I lost like 8 to 10 troops. Traveling all the way back to Gundabad, I'm losing money, because of upkeep. By the time I get those people, get some food, go back out to go find some bandits, it's just not a sustainable model, especially if you're going deeper into enemy territory or what I'm going to call enemy territory. Like some people may want to like kind of role play as like I'm only going to recruit the specific troops. So like if I was Mirkwood and I'm going into Rune, for example, is very far away, and I don't want to actually recruit Ebor or Dale. This feature is going to actually be allow you to reinforce your troops. I think that's important, especially if you're Mirkwood. It's a very hard, like if you're playing the elves, it's a very hard playthrough, very very hard because of the upkeep of the troops. They start at a higher level. Their upkeep is significant if you're gonna build out an army, but you also once again start with higher level troops. It's and then kind of replacing your you can obviously wear native, but like I was watching Scroto Baggins and he's just like I'm only gonna wear Mirkwood armor. It's really expensive, so like it's a very difficult playthrough. But when I was doing my dwarf playthrough, you guys seen that. I will not do it anymore because I don't have a 24-inch monitor. I'm kind of like bringing this down the size, so hopefully this works for you guys. But like you're obviously not going to see my full screen. But I stopped because I heard of the lagging, which I don't know how to really kind of fine tune out my stuff. I'm just going to probably have to go buy a 24-inch monitor to really showcase the mod off and stuff like that. But Ebor was a little bit easier of a playthrough, but then you have the difficulty of you can't wear everyone's armor. I can't wear anyone's armor besides Dwarf, and that's going to be expensive for you to kind of buy. So once again, I think every kind of culture or kingdom is going to have their own, kind of uniqueness in terms of difficulty, and I think that's actually kind of cool to think about. So, anyways, let's just go through this while I'm talking about the coding aspect. So, I'm just going to have this over here on my right-hand side and kind of talk about what we added here. Okay, so Anian added a significant feature that basically what's happening is the AI was making some wild calculations, and so what we're doing is he set out a graph, and I think it's kind of kind of cool to see this. So in configs, he has a graph that we still have to kind of figure out, not figure out, but kind of populate and make sure that it's okay. So Empire, which is Dunland, for example, it calculates all of their settlements that are important, and we can change this or not change this. What it does is when they do a army or a lord and it wants to attack another kingdom, what it's going to do is it's going to do a check to make sure that it owns all of these settlements. And then if it owns all of these settlements, then it will go aggressive and go and attack, into Rohan. But if Rohan's sitting there taking their settlements, it's first going to then prioritize defending, which is kind of important. I've really seen this with Gundor. Like Gundor would probably lose east and west Ogoloth, and then MT, and like they will be doing random stuff. I have no idea like why they wouldn't kind of defend. I do see Mordor's a little bit strong. Understood. We're working on that too. I do reduce leadership on that side. I did some things on that side. I also plussed up Gundor Lords. You guys can also always go look at mod progression to kind of look at that. I do think it is reasonable that Mordor gets to MT, just like in lore. East and West does fall, and I think it's even with the changes they still do fall. But I also think it's important that like Rohan's not like going into the middle of Dunland, attacking some castle that only has like maybe 100 defenders when like half their shit's gone from their side of the map. It just doesn't make sense. So he coded this in. Really, really kind of cool feature to just once again, and this is obviously completely customizable, right? So like everyone should be looking at their stuff, doing a calculation. Oh, I need to take this back. If I don't have it, I need to take it back. So before I go off and take Edoras or something like that, like Isengard should be figuring out, hey, I need to go take these things back. I did test this out. Does work quite well. It's kind of awesome to see Isengard once again kind of fix them so they don't get steamrolled in the very beginning too much. But yeah, so you got troop weights, you got the AI that doesn't make sort of dumb decisions. What else did I add? Okay, I added startup influence. So Isengard, the reason why I wasn't making armies was because of influence. It didn't have enough influence. It just makes sense. Like when I was looking at it, I think I had it 5 parties, maybe 19 lords, and sorry, 5 clans, 19 lords. The problem was is that the clans only had like maybe 200 influence. It cost a lot to bring like forth like a 800 900 stack army. So I just kind of gave them influence, and they started to make an army and started to go out and immediately attack Rohan. And I think that was pretty cool to see. So we put that into the game automatically. Another thing I put into the game is battle size. I put the battle size mod into the game so that you guys can pick. It's toggleable in your features. If you want to have up to, I think it's like 2047 or 48. There's a max. I think it's 2048 or something like that. Is the max. Whatever the thing is, I put it one underneath that of the max. And then of course it kills horses if after a time, etc., etc. Same thing that the battle size mod does. I put it into the game. So shout out to those people who got that updated. Another thing I did was add notables. So like Anian coded this. I added a lot of notables. And what does that mean? Okay, it means that they have, like Isengard, for example, has about 80 notables to be able to recruit fast. So if they do get wiped from because Rohan comes with about 2 stacks of 1,400 people, so they have about 2,800 altogether coming in and slapping around Isengard. I added roguery to their skills of the Lord, so they get out of that faster, and additionally they can recruit back up because people just kind of sit at villages forever and then wait until their armies are kind of over 40%. That's another thing I seen was when Isengard was going to create an army, all of their parties were basically at 40 or less than 40%, so they couldn't be called to an army. I changed that. I also added, I have Rivendell, Gundabad, and Lorien. So anyone that has a reduced amount of settlements, I did that. Also, I did the same thing to the cultures. Added one for Mordor, and then got very specific in here. With Isengard now has 10, so when they go to villages, they have 10 nobles that they can recruit from, etc., etc. So kind of did that. what else do we have here? I did some bandit stuff. So I hear you guys. I understand that like bandits are somewhat harder to find. I've spread like 100 bandit camps across the map. I added some to Gundabad now. They're in Mirkwood. I'll show you guys in the map here soon. Kind of they're there, and then I changed some of the models to make this kind of make sense. I added in an age model, so characters became old at 47 in the native game, so they became old at 47. I changed it to 100, max age 300. I think the max age was actually pretty high in native. I think maybe the max age was like 70 or like 100. I was actually kind of surprised. Anyways, I changed it to 300. Obviously, we're gonna make that. I just wanted to test it to make sure it worked. And then I will change it obviously to like 99999 for Sauron and their other people. So I kept everything else the same. When you become an infant, when you become a child, when you become a teenager, when you become a hero comes of age, which is 18, kept all that the same. Changed the old age and then the max age. And once again, I'm willing to play around with that a little bit more. Anything else in here that we need to discuss? Once again, a lot of coding, kind of focus has been coding, and now the focus will be sieges, kind of moving on. Some of this stuff was prepaid for, so like that's why it's in the game. Anything that I see that's kind of no. Okay. I did add messengers into the mod, so like just like the diplomacy messengers. Yep, it's right here. Works the same way. So you'll be able to have messengers in the game. Yep, starting influences right here, like I was talking about earlier, and we can once again fine tune this for a reason. Startup funds is in the game, giving them money. Starting out, I've put equipment for like starting equipment, added that into the game. Race bonuses in the game, obviously we talked about that. Bandits is in the game. Custom battles is now working. We're kind of once again fine tuning that and getting that kind of a little bit more fleshed out, and so it is beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't want to spend too much more time into custom battle because it's going to be completely changed in 1.3.0. So like it's we're going to have to recode that shit again. Warg. Talked about the Warg. The Warg now acts as its own AI agent, so like it will do attacks. If you're riding a Warg, which I'm going to work on getting them to the marketplace. I have no idea why they're not in the marketplace. It's actually really annoying. I think that we're doing everything right. I've tried multiple different things. I can't get them to the actual marketplace, even though I slapped around the XML 15,000 times. They will not show up in the marketplace. But if someone does get them to the marketplace, let me know how you did it. But maybe I have to code it. I don't know. But the Warg, when you're riding a Warg, even the AI, they will act as their own agent. They will randomly attack the enemy when they get close. It's on a cooldown, and then they will go into a rage where you can't control them. So if like you're like trying to move and you're like, "Whoa, what the heck's happening?" They will go into a rage mode where you can't control them. And there's some other plans with the Warg later on, down the road. Anything else that's kind of interesting? Yeah, okay, cool. So that's kind of where we're going with the coding. The next thing that we're going to add is the camp feature with reinforcements. Anian's looking at some things that he wants to get passionate about. We're looking at the momentum. We're looking at a couple other things from coding. We do want to take a step back from coding just because the more that we touch, the more that we're going to have to change. And I don't want to kind of have to pay to do it now and then pay to do it again later, right? It's just, kind of we should just wait, right? So I'm just once again going through this armor. We are going to fix this like clipping issue with this armor right here, the scale mail armor. A little bit of a clipping issue. We are looking into ways of trying to fix that. It might just be like you can't use specific pauldrons with this. But we see it because once again it's a lot of them. But yeah, so as you guys can see, this is sort of what we got for Gundabad. Hopefully you guys like it. I think that it is quite amazing, right? Like, every time Keyforce gives me something, it's kind of, really, really breathtaking to kind of take a step back and kind of see them all in action. So there's that. Let's go look at the sure, we'll apply them whatever changes I made. Um, just looking at the troop tree real quick. So this is what the troop tree, if I could do my ABCs, excuse me. Come here. All right, so this is what the troop tree looks like. Starting off with Snaga, then it breaks down into kind of range, which breaks down into wargs, which will turn into wolves. Shout out to Crotus. Um, he's doing kind of the same kind of thing that Alliance and them doing. He's doing wolves though for Gundabad. So all these will change out to their correct things. Obviously the weapons will also change, right? But yeah, so these will be wolves. These are kind of spear lancing. I don't think I want to give them crouchable. That's more of a Rohan Gundor kind of thing. I want to kind of keep them to where they're swinging stuff, right? So like not couchable. I don't think that they were that. They're more of a hit and run, get out of there kind of feeling to me. And then I also gave them archers with kind of pole arms. So when I hate horse archers to be truthfully honest with you. I think that they're absolutely useless. They go out there and they kind of immediately die. It's one of the dumbest things I've seen. Um, but yeah, so we gave them horse archers. Then we got the kind of main archer line. Once again, kind of stopping at 26. They're not they shouldn't be really known for archers. Then we gotta go into two-handed berserkers, short and shield, spear and shield, and then pikes. Right, so these guys are gonna be pikes. Once again, trying to um, give them enough that they can really survive. The lords have all been changed. Let me go look at the lords. Um, the lords. Yeah, so here's the lord's armor. They're going to be a little bit different. I have to look at the shoulders, figure out why he's not wearing shoulders, but that's fine. I am going to, like, if someone out in the community wants to do it, like, a lot of these faces are just kind of random if you want to create your own faces. I did give them a lot of lords to begin with, just to be able to survive Ebor, Dale, and Mirkwood. But I'm going to take a look at it, so I guess I could show you now. I'll be monitoring it, right? So I'm just gonna show you. Spoiler alert: you'll be seeing hideouts, right? On the map, right? So I populated the map with hideouts. So if you can't tell me that you don't know where hideouts are, right? Because you'll see there's hideouts, right? That one's populated right there. So Gundor's, I'm going to change it to elves up here. There's going to be elves raiding camp, so you'll be fighting elves. However, I have to create elves for you to fight because I don't want you to be fighting like Mirkwood starts off at level 36. You taking your little 20-man army into level 36 Mirkwood, you're gonna get freaking steamrolled, right? So, anyways, here is kind of Gundabad. Maybe I'm thinking about maybe like coming in here, creating a little bit more settlements out here. I kind of got a lot of space I can use for Gundabad. I don't know yet. We'll see. I want to see how it progresses. I do what I do a lot is I let the game run and I just sit there and wait and I buy a lot of food and then I sit here and wait in wherever settlement and I kind of just progress the game and see what happens. So I'm really paying attention to this. I mean, Agmar is going to be over here, or Agmar is going to be over here. I might push this a little bit up into there. I think it's a little bit too close to Rivendell, but we'll see what happens. Or maybe that's once again we're having an issue with distance, right? So even that far away distance, Rivendell doesn't do anything but sit here and fucking circle jerk all day, and it's so annoying. So I'm trying to entice them to go down and attack Dunlin, because if they don't, Dunlin comes in, they immediately obviously take this, which they should, and then they immediately, like every single time, every single one of my playthroughs, Grimberg is gone, and then they kind of leave this alone, and then they're kind of marching in towards here, which is great. I mean, I think it's wonderful, in my opinion. But I want Rivendell to put a little bit more pressure on Dunlin. Dunlin can field about 9,000 troops. Rohan can field about 11,000. Isengard, I think, is about 4,000 right now. Rivendell can field about around 25. So I don't know if it's a power issue or they're just a distance issue. So that's another thing that we have to think about. Like I want to try to be as lore accurate as possible. I have plans to kind of add like an orc kind of like raiding minor place here. I don't want to call it a kingdom because kingdoms are very very annoying to set up. There's a lot that goes involved into getting a kingdom in here. But I'm gonna try to add in. Maybe I'll just make a Mordor and just have Mordor shit over here, or whatever. We'll figure it out. Maybe when I put Moria, Moria orcs or goblins, maybe. I don't know. I'm not committed to it. This is obviously where Moria is gonna be. Um, but anyways, yeah. So I had to figure it out. Maybe I push Dunlin up into here and then put Rivendell kind of some outer post out here. But I'm once again open to they have to attack each other at that point, right? Like they're sitting there looking at each other. They're gonna have to fucking figure it out. But I think that this might be a too big of a different distance. But yeah, so that's Rivendell. Yeah, so I'm constantly looking at this and figuring out like, hey, is it enough? Do we need to put more? Maybe I put more into here. I know that there's dwarfs in here and stuff like that. Got it. I think the Grey Mountain dwarves or something like that. Understood. Um, Mirkwood, right? Mirkwood has another town over here. I'm just once again kind of monitoring them, trying to figure out like what's the a good balance. They obviously have a metric shit ton of bandits, right? So don't sit here and tell me, oh, there's no bandits. Like there are bandits. It's just the game wants to fuck you. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah. Once again, the Patreons did vote and decided that we are going to focus on scenes. So Dal, I did say in one of my last videos that we're going to focus on the Kingdom Armor of Dal. That is a lie now. We're going to be focusing on scenes. That's where our focus is going to be on, and my focus is going to be on. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with that. So other than that, I don't have anything else for you guys. Focusing on scenes, focusing on completing Gundabad, completing Rivendell, then moving on to right now. Leo V is pushing out. Oh, that's another thing. I'm sorry. Leo V did do about 19 helmets for Mirkwood that I added to their troop tree. And he did two different armors. Sorry, so he did two different armors and 19 helmets for Mirkwood. I wish I could spell. Holy smokes. Let me just pull that up. So that will be in the game. So you're kind of getting a couple different things. So yeah. So here's the new armor. This is the gold armor. One of the new helmets. Here's the silver armor. One of the new helmets. You guys can take a look through this. Various different things. The Palace Guards has a new helmet. As you can see down the line, what he did to the helmet. So you kind of progress that way. I don't think that their armor's fine. It's not going to change. But yeah, so the next thing that he's going to work on. So he delivered 19 helmets. The next thing he's going to work on is the bodies. The chest plates, excuse me. So we're gonna get delivered the chest plates hopefully within a week to 2 weeks, and then once again, then we'll do the shoulders, and then we'll do the gloves and then legs, right? So then he'll move on to Lorien, right? So you're kind of getting at the same time that hopefully if everything works out, right? Keyforce charged ahead on Gundabad, banged that out before he went on vacation. Then he's going to be moving on to DG here pretty soon. There's elephants in the works. We're doing the elephant, the whatever, Mubakil, whatever the heck it's called. I'm sorry, Mubakai, Mubakil, the fucking people that, the big shit, right? That just comes in daddy long dicks people. So, we're doing that right after DG. So hold on, let me make sure, because he did tell me what he's doing. Hold on. Yeah. So the plan here is Gundabad is going to be fleshed out. I had to flesh out and finish Rivendell. obviously it's going to be a work in progress because we're trying to do a base mesh too. So like the next thing that's going to be kind of for Keyforce is Gundabad's going to be done. I'm going to move Gundabad. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Gundabad is done from that perspective. I'm going to move DG to the north, probably about right here. Maybe I'll move them a little bit more because once again, it's very easy for me to change and move settlements. I might move them up here so that so that these guys can, like, once again, always taking a look at balance. Is Mount Gundabad getting absolutely slammed by Mirkwood, Ebor, and Dale? Right? These Iron Hills should be fighting with Ruin. What is Ruin doing? I'm constantly looking at these things. That's why I like to view you guys' gameplays and get you guys' feedback on what's happening. I can't like kind of monitor everything, but I'm gonna try to move these guys up. Give them maybe another town and a couple, probably castles with some villages, right? I think they have enough villages down here to fend themselves off. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with these guys yet. Probably this is about all they're going to have, so I don't know, how big they're going to be in the fight. But move them up here so that they can start to. In one of my gameplays, DG did come up here and start messing around and took it quite fast, which I was very surprised. And then like Ebor came and Dale came and took it back, so it was very interesting to see. But yeah, so Gundabad finish, Rivendell work on it until the elf base mesh, and then I'm trying to we'll see what we do with elf base mesh. DG is going to be next for Keyforce. At the same time, I'm hoping Mirkwood gets done at the same time that DG gets done, so we can do like a DG rollout, boom, boom, and then like the next month do a Mirkwood rollout, and then we're going to focus on Lorien, right? At the same time, we're going to be bumping out scenes. I am focusing on kit bashes. That's our bottleneck right now is kit bashes. So we do have a Gundor kit bash, but Keyforce is going to revamp it so that we can get some of these, more custom things out. Pelagir's in the game. I'm going to have to redo this one and put it where it's supposed to be, but this is in the game. MT's 80% done. East and West are being worked on right now. There are generic, I think there's 2 generic castles, 1 generic town. Doth Amoroth is done. Another thing I'm trying to do is, because these guys don't have Dick All to do, one of the things I'm going to probably do is take Doth Amoroth and expand it, and maybe Pelagir, and expand it down here into this region. I know that's not lore accurate, but like at this time, like we have Bannerlord constraints, ladies and gentlemen. So there's that. Because right now, like if these 3 get involved, it's gonna be a wild time for Gundor. Because like Rohan's fighting 2 people basically right now. These guys are just sitting and doing nothing. These guys are sitting and doing nothing. Rivendell and Lorien doing nothing. These guys, I don't know. They're kind of doing whatever. All 3 of these guys just tackle and spread these cheeks over here. So we'll see what happens, right? And then I don't know what these guys are doing. Rune's doing. Maybe I need to do things. I do have a plan for this kingdom, if you will, like kind of a native empire kingdom. Put that there as a neutral. Doesn't it's not one way or the other. Just kind of as a trading kingdom. Fill out that. I have no plans for this over here. I just put this here so you guys stop asking me questions about it. But we'll see. My thoughts on this is like it's a lot of like I kind of responded back to this in Discord, right? It's a lot of work. This is a lot of work. It's just a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources into getting this done. I mean, you got a lot of kingdoms over here that you can put in here. That one, you got the Blue Mountains, you got Linden, you got Shire, you got what's it called? What's the B one? Oh God. You got the B one. I forget what the B one is. Right next to the Shire. You got Agmar. You got a couple other things I'm forgetting. Dunlin Rangers. You got a lot of kingdoms, and it takes a lot of time to build out a kingdom fully. Like I don't think that there's a single kingdom on this map that's fully built out, ready to like go. Maybe Gundor. Like so that's like it's a lot of XML work. It's just a lot of work. Period. Like these guys are gonna have to be revamped for Rohan and stuff like that. As you guys can see, we're kind of working on the banners and stuff like that. So like there's not maybe Dunland is also completely done, just because they're human, right? So like it's just a lot of work. But that's kind of like the vision here of what we're going to be doing. So yeah, so once again, just I know you probably heard this about 15,000 times. I do apologize. I do talk a lot, but Mount Gundabad is work in progress, almost done. Weapons, boom, push out for September release. I'm hoping that a late October release is DG, which is going to be pushed up here. Um, with armor and weapons, we're planning to take this, retexture it, do some things, a new base mesh, boom, done, knock those things out. So DG will be done at the same time, maybe a little bit later, probably late, early November, late November is Mirkwood. Then we're looking probably January for Lithorian. At that time, hopefully all this is kind of done. We got some scenes in. Once again, kit bashes. We got Mirkwood kit bash coming. We got Rohan kit bash coming. We got Mordor kit bash coming. Isengard, DG, and Mount Gundabad will all be together from a Mordor standpoint. Yeah, and I think we kind of this we can use native assets for Ruin, native assets for Harad, native assets for probably Khand. Um, Kit Bash for Umbar because it's just a little bit different. You can't really use native for this. This will get revamped. I'm probably going to tag Keyforce to revamp all the armors in here. He's kind of passionate about it, but he also has a lot of in his plate. Rohan will get revamped from an armor standpoint. Just taking a look at it, giving it a good refresh. Everything else seems to be fine. Igor is going to be working on Ruin and Harad. We'll see what we do with Khand, right? So what you see here is what I'm committed to doing. Everything else is kind of extra and nice to have, right? I'm committed to doing these kingdoms: Dale, Ebor, Iron Hills, Gundabad, Rivendell. I'm not going to insult your guys' intelligence. You guys can see. Anything else is cool to have, right? Because once again, everything costs time, money, resources. It's a lot of time, and I don't know. I got a kid coming in February. There's no real return on investment for the time and money that we're putting in. Besides, everyone gets to enjoy, kind of a Lord of the Rings experience, right? Which is cool, and it kind of keeps me going. But like, this is what I'm committed to. So when people ask, "Oh, is the Shire going to be in there?" Unless one of you guys in the community put it in there, probably not. We'll see what we can do over here. I'm not committing to anything. My main goal is to get it to stable and get these kingdoms that I have here done, and then I'm going to walk off into the sunset, right? That's most likely what I'm going to be doing. Anything else is going to be community driven. Someone else is going to pick it up, do something. That's kind of like where I'm going. We're still a long ways off from that, right? Like, at the pace that we're going, we'll probably, have this stuff, the north besides Dale, done by kind of beginning of next year is what I'm kind of looking at. Then there's scenes, like there's just so much work. At the end of the day, it's I kind of think about you know how long is Bannerlord going to be um, viable, or um, what's the correct word? I don't know what the correct word is, but like obviously it's been going on for 6, 7 years. When's the next, kind of game that's, going to probably draw people away that's kind of filling that niche? I mean, there's Chronicles Medieval. I know that someone just posted in Discord, hey, people are still playing Warband and stuff like that, but like you kind of have to, at some point, you're gonna have to do like, is it worth my time? Resources, to continue to build out this whole thing. I don't know. Maybe it just becomes a community supported project. I just put it all out. Once again, I'm committed to doing what you guys see here. I'm not committing to anything else because I know the level of work, the level of money, the level of time that it takes to do this stuff, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to dedicate to doing that. And so yeah, and I don't want to really put out trash, right? So I don't want to commit to doing the Hobbits and then lose my passion. I have enough passion to get me to doing all of this stuff. I don't have enough passion to get me probably to finishing out this West. So once again, I think that the community can come in and really hammer this out. Um, Linden will probably be very easy because it's just like we already have the armors for Linden, so maybe I'll just build out a quick Linden and call it a day. But yeah, I mean we already have the dwarves, so maybe we'll do the blue mountains. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm really excited to do elephants. I'm really excited because you're learning something new, right? You're learning animation. You're learning base meshes for animals. That's something new. I'm really excited to do scenes. I'm learning something new. But once I kind of conquered all that stuff, like it's just back to XML hoeing and freaking testing the game and coding and stuff like that, right? It's just so yeah, yeah. After all that, after DG, Keyforce is going to be focusing on the elephant. Then he'll focus on some other surprises I'm not going to tell you about. We'll get the elf base mesh in there. Then we're going to be focusing on kit bashes. So focusing really on Dwarven Kit Bash is what he should be focused on, and then obviously doing some other things. We have some chariots, Dwarven chariots, Ruin chariots that are on the list. Things that could be added in the future are going to be Dale, which is going to be Solus, or Keyforce, most likely Solus. Gundor armor revamps, Kond. Vale. Once again, there's a lot of things that Keyforce is passionate about doing. We'll see. This list constantly changes. Here's what I can tell you: we're going to be doing elephants. We're going to be doing spiders because I would really, really want spiders to be, kind of up here and as troops and attacking. And we're going to be doing trolls, right? We have to kind of rework the troll because there's for reasons, right? So, and I'm really really passionate about getting a drop kick animation in there, so you can just run up and drop kick a motherfucker. Like that is peak, combat for me. So like, that's kind of what I'm focusing on. But here, that's what it is, right? That's where I see this mod kind of going at the progression. We unfortunately did lose two sceners to various different reasons. So, if you do want to join the team and kind of help take this vision and give it out to the community, please put in your name for scening. It's okay if you don't know anything. I don't know anything about scening, but I didn't know about anything when I started in November, right? It's just I really just kind of put my time where my mouth was, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go try and give this a shot and see what happens. And this is it, right? Not the best thing in the world, but like I'm kind of pretty proud of where we were and where we are right now. A lot of people met a lot of great people along the way. So shout out to the team, shout out to everyone who kind of contributes to the mod. Shout out to the Patreon, shout out to the community. Once again, that's my vision. Hopefully you guys have made it here. I would definitely take your feedback. Sometimes you just kind of have to put it out into the ethos and say, hey, this is where we're at, and hopefully the community can band together and kind of finish the project, if you will. But this is what I'm committed to. This is where I'll get it to. That's what I started. My vision in the very, very beginning was this. Everything else was kind of cool and nice to have. So I challenge you, if you want something to be in this game, do it yourself. You'll learn. I think it's so fucking cool to like open up a game and see your touch, your stuff in game and how it works and what it's like. I think that like that's some of the things that keep people driving on. But like in reality, I know people are going to continuously ask for more and more and more. I appreciate the team members that have joined the team so far and have contributed. It's huge. I mean, taking initiative is huge. Um, but like also at the same time, I think that the Lord of the Rings universe is like a never-ending kind of thing that you can always kind of iterate on, right? And that's another thing that we're doing, right? So that's why I told you in the very beginning. My philosophy is to put it out there, and then hopefully someone picks it up and iterates on it. But like we'll get to it. So what you see here, it might not be the final product, right? Like I may go back through and kind of rearrange Gundor. I may go back through and rearrange Moldor. I may go back through and rearrange Rohan. Like I already told you, I'm kind of committed to redoing the Gundor from an armor perspective. I think that it's owed to the community because there's a lot of lessons learned that we learned. This was the first thing that we kind of were doing. It was armor and weapons and stuff like that for Gundor. I think that we owe it to the community to come back and take a look at that, a hard look, and make sure that we redo it a little bit better. Same thing with Rohan. I think that what we have here is great. However, I think that we can come back here and kind of add to. Um, all the rest are pretty fucking fantastic in my opinion. I don't think that we're going to revisit any of those things. Maybe add some different things. But anyways, long story short is if you guys want to see this, sign up for it. Put forth your time, resources, and effort into making that a thing. I'm going to leave it up to the community as a whole that you guys can kind of band together and kind of figure that one out. At the end of the day, when I kind of complete where I'm at, where I want to walk off into the sunset, I'm going to release everything I have to the community, and they can pick apart and do whatever they want to do with it. But like until I get to that point, that's kind of what I'm committed to doing. So if it gets into the game, it's just I guess where someone was passionate about it to get it into the game. But yeah, Haterade, Tales from the Age of Men. Once again, complete shout out to the community. You guys keep me motivated when I get burned out, when I get demotivated, if you will, just from the amount of sheer work that you have to do in order to do a mod. Shout out to the Tor team, the Realm of Throws team, ADOD, Realms Forgotten, Black Rose, Carolina, Knox. I don't know anyone really on the Tor team, but Tom Shaw, Short Jake, who've been so who basically paved the way for a mod like this to even kind of come to fruition. I have so much respect. Shout out to KOA and that team. So much respect because I now know how much work this is to get to this point, and how much more work it's going to take to get to the final product. Right? There's so much work to do. Um, but yeah, having a blast so far. Um, and hopefully the community can band together and take this mod to, kind of the next level, so that people are playing it 10 years from now. I think that would be pretty cool. With that being said, Haterade, God bless. Take it easy.